Okay, so good morning everyone. Happy to see you again all. In the last class we completed what we completed? Anyone will say? We completed the structure of heart and we discussed few questions related with the sequence of WBCs, ascending order, descending order. Today we are going to discuss one very interesting topic in continuation, that is the cardiac cycle and ECG. So first of all, I want to say, what is cardiac cycle? What is cardiac cycle? So, cyclic changes. If I will say in simple language, what is the function of the heart? The function of the heart is to collect blood, give the blood to the ventricle. Ventricles are getting contract and the blood is coming to the aortas. Through the aortas, it will move to the body or to the lungs, and again from lungs by the purification, and again from the body cells after the providing the oxygen and all, it is coming back to the heart. So, if I will say, when the heart is interested to take the blood, there is a process that is known as the diastole. Diastole means relaxation. Diastole means relaxation. In scientific language, it is also repolarization. And when heart is interested to send blood either in pulmonary aorta or in the systemic aorta, then it has to contract now. Then it is known as the contraction of the heart, or it is known as the systole, or it is known as the depolarization. So, what is cardiac cycle? Cyclic changes which occurs in the heart during one heartbeat is known as the cardiac cycle. Cyclic changes which occurs in the heart during one heartbeat is known as the cardiac cycle. And what is the average duration of cardiac cycle? I think it is known by you. Total 72 heartbeats. It's a very common fact known by all students. So, if you will divide 60 seconds, it takes for 72 beats. So, one cardiac cycle is completed in 72 beats in 60 seconds now. So, 60 divided by 72. Are you getting the simple calculation? If I will say the simple calculation, just try to get point here. In 60 seconds or in 72 heartbeats completed in 60 seconds. Are you getting? This is 60 seconds. So, one heartbeat is completed in 60 upon 72, that is the 0.8 second. Are you getting this point? So, one heartbeat completed in 0.8 second. So, first point that what is the duration of cardiac cycle? That is the 0.8. And what is cardiac cycle? Cyclic changes. They are occurring in a cyclic manner now. After the contraction of the atria, then only that is relaxation of the ventricle, or again then when there is contraction of the ventricle now. It is not happening simultaneously. So, what are the events which takes place in the cardiac cycle? Try to see. I said contraction of the heart, relaxation of the heart. These are the two main events. So, there are two types of chamber in the heart. There are two types of chambers in the heart. One is the atria, see towards the board, and one is the ventricle. So, what are the two chambers of the heart? Atrial chamber and the ventricular chamber. So, I divided the events of the heart into subheadings: auricular events, ventricular events. Events which are occurring in the auricle and events which are occurring in the ventricle. So, see towards the board. This is our four-chambered heart. Last time I said four-chambered heart is there. Okay. This is the right ventricle. It will send the blood to the pulmonary. It means pulmonary aorta, and left ventricle. It will send the blood to the systemic aorta. So, if I will say like this, if you are observing this, it will send the blood to the lungs. From the lungs, after the purification, the blood will come into the left atria. Are you getting? And it will send blood to the body parts, and from the body parts, the pure blood will come into the left, that is the impure blood will come into the right atria. So, if I will say like this, see again towards the board. It starts from here, impure blood going to the lungs, pure blood is coming into the left atria. It starts from here, pure blood, systemic aorta, and it ends into the impure blood, that is the vena cava. So you can say like this. Systemic circulation starts from left ventricle, ends into the right auricle. Pulmonary circulation starts from the right ventricle, ends into the left auricle. Happy? So if you will remember like this, you are able to say, you are able to remember about this all circulation. So what are the two chambers of the heart? Auricular chambers, ventricular chambers. So auricular events, ventricular event. I said now, only two events, either systole or diastole. So what is the meaning of systole? The meaning of systole means contraction, and whenever there is contraction in the heart chamber, the blood will move. So when there is contraction in the atria, blood will move to the ventricle, and when there is contraction in the ventricle, blood will move to the aorta. Are you getting my point? When there is systole in the right atria, blood will move to the right ventricle. When there is systole in the left atria, blood will move into the left ventricle. So this is the auricular systole. Auricular diastole. Diastole means contraction. It will take the blood. It will take the impure blood. This part will take the pure blood. So auricular systole 0.1 second. Auricular diastole 0.7 second. Anyone can ask, because you are the student, when, why, where. Okay, you have to apply these questions now. You can ask, sir, why the duration of systole is only 0.1? Why the duration of diastole is 0.2? So try to think, what is the function of auricle? Auricles are collecting the blood from the different parts of the body. So it takes longer time. And in systole, they have to send blood only to ventricle now, smaller distance now. So it takes only 0.1 second. So 0.1 second, 0.7 second, that is the auricular systole. Ventricular systole 0.3, ventricular systole 0.5. So whenever you are studying the zoology or zoology, whatever you want to say, always keep ready your questions. Because without questions, how can you learn? You have to ask question. I said auricular systole 0.1, auricular diastole 0.7, ventricular systole 0.3, ventricular diastole 0.5. Now, I got confused. Will you help me? Dora, 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 help, 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 help. I said total duration of cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. See, auricular events is 0.8, 0.1 plus 0.7, 0.8 na. Ventricular events is also 0.8. So, I am wrong na, because I said total duration is 0.8, but you will say, sir, 0.8 auricular events, 0.8 ventricular events. So, total duration of cardiac cycle is 0.8 plus 0.8. Okay, sir, you are wrong. So, help me. Why I have written the total duration is 0.8, not in place of 0.8 plus 0.8? Because when there is contraction in one chamber of the heart, there is relaxation in the other chambers of the heart. Both the atria and ventricle are not contracting at the same time. So, whenever there is contraction in one chambers, there is relaxation in the other chamber. So, when there is contraction in the atria, atrial systole, same time what is happening? Ventricular diastole. Otherwise, where the blood will go? If both the chambers will contract at the same time, where the blood will go? So, are you getting? They can ask, why the duration of cardiac cycle is only 0.8? Why not 0.8 plus 0.8? Because when there is contraction in one chamber of the heart, there is relaxation in the other chambers of the heart. So, now it is clear. First point, why the duration of cardiac cycle is only 0.8? Because when there is contraction in one chambers of the heart, there is relaxation in the another chambers of the heart. So, this is the one that you have to remember. Now, try to get. This is 0.8 cyclic event, na? Cardiac cycle. Cycle. So just see, total duration 0.8. I divided it into two half. This is 0.4, this is 0.4. Am I right now? What is the duration of auricular systole? Anyone will say, auricular systole completed in 0.1. This is 0.1. What is the duration of ventricular systole? 0.3. So see, 0.3, 0.1, total 0.4. Auricular systole completed in 0.1. See here, auricular systole completed in 0.1. Ventricular systole completed in 0.3. So in how much time the systole is completed? 0.4 na? Clear? It means there is 0.4 second remaining na. In these 0.4 seconds, all the four chambers of the heart, they are in relaxed condition. It is known as the complete cardiac diastole. It is known as the complete cardiac diastole, or it is also known as the joint diastole. Complete cardiac diastole, or it is known as the joint diastole. Are you getting? Again I will say, auricular systole 0.1, auricular diastole 0.7, ventricular systole 0.3, ventricular diastole 0.5. So total 0.8, 0.8. Now how I represented it? This one 0.4, 0.4, auricular systole 0.1, ventricular systole 0.4, so 0.4, and this is remaining 0.4. This is known as the joint diastole or complete cardiac diastole. So they will ask the simple mathematical question, 0.1, 0.3, that is known as the joint, that is known as the systole in atria and ventricle, and remaining 0.4, that is known as the joint diastole. Why it is known as the joint diastole? Because both the chambers of the heart, auricles, both auricles and both ventricles, they are in relaxed condition. That is why it is known as the joint diastole. It means you have to keep one question in mind. Never the four chambers are contracting together, but the four chambers can relax together. Are you getting this point? Never the four chambers are contracting together, but all the four chambers can relax together. This is the one point. Now, I divided the cardiac cycle which is given into NCERT into smaller pieces, so easily you are able to learn how the blood is coming into the ventricle from auricle and how much blood is coming. This is one very important point. So, known by us, every student of biology knows that approximately 5 liters of blood is coming out from the heart. Anyone will say, when there is one heartbeat, 5 liters of blood is coming out every time. No. In one heartbeat, the cardiac output, that is one heartbeat I am saying, that is known as the stroke volume. It is approximately 70 ml. In 1 minute, 5 liters. In 1 minute, 5 liters. So I will say, I will explain you 2 points. EDV, end diastolic volume, ESV, end systolic volume. And all the volumes are related with the ventricle. Now, listen me carefully. See the heading. The heading is end diastolic volume. End means finished. Diastolic means diastole. Volume. At the end of diastole, how much amount of blood is present in the ventricles? That is known as the end diastolic volume. Please see towards the board. At the end of diastole, how much volume of blood is present in the ventricles? It is known as the end diastolic volume. And you have to learn, you have to remember, this is about 120 ml. This is about 120 ml. Are you getting? At the end of diastole in the ventricles, they are having 120 ml of blood. End systolic volume, end of the systole. When the blood, the heart ventricles getting filled with the blood, they will get contraction. the blood will go. So at the end of systole, how much blood is going from the heart? It is known as the end systolic volume. So you have to remember one point, stroke volume. Then only you will say na. So what is stroke volume? Amount of blood which is coming out from the heart after one heartbeat. That is known as the stroke volume. I will simplify. Okay. What is EDV? What is ESV? And what is SV? One day, I said my wife, give me some rupee, I want to go PVP for shopping. So my wife has given me only 120 rupees. I said it's very less. She said no, it's sufficient. It is your limit. So my limit is 120 ml. What is the maximum amount of rupees I am having? 120 rupees. I went to PVP mall and I spent how much rupees? That is the 70 rupees. So at the end of the shopping, how much rupees I am having? 120 minus 70. Getting now? So how much I am having? 50 rupees. So these are the three terms. Total money I am having before shopping? 120 rupees. How much expenses? 70 rupees. And how much I am having after shopping? 50 rupees. So when I will say next Sunday, I will again say to my wife, give me some rupee. I want to go for shopping. I was expecting that my wife will give me rupees 120. Anyone will say how much rupees she will give me now? Now she will give me only 70 rupees. Because what is my maximum limit? 120 rupees. Already I am having 50 rupees. So I need only 70 rupees. She explained. I am a biology student na. She is mathematician. So she is having good mathematics. Good. So she calculated and I got satisfied. Yes. So what is the EDV? 120 ml. You have to remember like this. What is the EDV? EDV is 120 ml. How much is coming from the heart during one beat? 70 ml. So how much is remaining? And the systolic volume, that is the EDV minus SV is equal to EDV. So what is EDV? 120 ml minus 70 ml. So 50 ml. Examiner will frame the simple question based on it. There is one term, stroke volume. What is stroke volume? The amount of blood which is coming out from the heart in one heartbeat, not in 1 minute, in one heartbeat, that is known as the stroke volume. Are you getting? So I explained 3 points. One, what is EDV? 120 ml. What is stroke volume? 70 ml. So what is how much remaining? 50 ml. Next time, how much blood will enter into the heart? Only 70 ml. Once the cycle has been established, then only 70 ml blood is required to maintain the cardiac cycle, not 120 ml. Are you getting my point? I think it may be variable, but it is average values. All values are average in zoology. So this is the one I said that blood is coming out from the systemic aorta. Blood will come out from the pulmonary aorta. So this is the one point that you have to remember here. Now, just see carefully towards the board. I have taken this beautiful diagram from our study package. You know, C. Chaitanya is having R&D team. R&D team means, you know, R&D means research and development team. One who is responsible for the research means what type of research is required for a competitive institute? Change. Every year the pattern of the question paper is getting changed. So they are changing their material as per the requirement. This is the research team and development team, that is developing our study material as per the requirement, because here you and B both are working for your success. Ultimately target is the success. So I have taken this diagram from our study package, C. Chaitanya's study package, that is the Akash material. Are you getting? So whenever you will join our institute, you will get the study packages having one intellectual diagrams also. So see, they divided atrial systole, atrial diastole, ventricular systole, ventricular diastole. I already said 0.1 second. Auricular systole na 0.3 second. Ventricular systole na 0.4 second. Complete cardiac diastole. So I already explained this one, that what is the total duration here, that you have to remember. Now I said 120 is the maximum limit which is present in the ventricle at the end of diastole. 70 ml of blood is coming out from the heart and 50 ml blood is always present in the ventricles at the end of systole. That is known as the ESV. So how much blood is required into ventricle from aorta or from that atria? You can say 70 ml. So I have taken one side heading from my side, ventricular filling. Ventricular filling. This is the 1 point. This is the 1 point. Ventricular filling. There are 2 types of ventricular filling. First of all, you have to remember how much blood is coming from auricle to ventricle. That is only 70 ml is required. So it is completed by 2 processes. You can say by this, one is the passive ventricular filling, one is the active ventricular filling. Try to imagine passive ventricular filling. You know one Mahesh Babu. Have you seen the movie Maharshi? Mahesh Babu, stylish hero. So one day, or nowadays, who is in trend? Prabhas. Okay. So Prabhas one movie already came. Now, after a few months, there is one movie, Kalki 2098, one movie is coming now. So that one day, first show, a huge pupils are gathered on the cinema hall. Okay. They all are having ticket, but no wait. So whenever the gatekeeper will open the door, some of the people, they will run in the theater without any force. Passively, they will enter into the theater and they will occupy their seats. Like they are not having the tickets. They all are having the tickets, but they will run. But still some people are roaming. So gatekeeper will say, sir, you may also go because now the show is going to start. If you will go to airport, all are having tickets, but some are running very fast and standing first in the line. Active. Some are like me, passive. I am having ticket now. When all will go, then I will go now. They will also give me my seat now. So that is active and passive. Are you getting? So when there is contraction in the atria and blood will come into the ventricle, this is active. Without the contraction of the atria, if the blood will come into the ventricle, it is known as the passive. How it's possible? I said between the atria and ventricle, valves are present, tricuspid, bicuspid. If you are not recognizing it, see the last video of Sri Chaitanya's zoology. I uploaded, it means you will see that in the structure of heart, I said about the tricuspid and bicuspid valve. So when I said now there is a phase, complete cardiac diastole, all the 4 chambers of the heart are getting relaxed. Suddenly there is opening of the tricuspid and bicuspid valve. So blood will rush from atria to ventricle. I said now opening of the doors of the theater. So maximum filling of the ventricle occurs at the end of joint diastole. And how much? It is 70% of the, anyone will say, it is the 70% of the 70 ml. I said only 70 ml blood is required now. So 70% of the 70 ml is coming into the ventricle by the process of passive ventricular filling. So it is about 49 ml. Are you getting? 49 ml. And active ventricular filling, it means when there is contraction, when the person will say go. So here ventricular systole, it is additional 30%. They have written the NCRT, additional 30% of 70 ml. It means it is about 21 ml. Total 70 ml. So how the 70 ml blood is coming into the heart? Simple mathematics. You have to remember, examiner can frame numerical on all these points. We will discuss numerical also. But this is the one point that you have to remember before the cardiac cycle. Now we are coming on one very interesting point, that is heart sound. Have you seen any movie? Love, dove, love, dove. They are showing and they are showing one straight line. Movie finished. So heart is producing the sound. Heart is producing the sound. who is producing the sound in the heart? Like I will say, human being producing the sound. So who is producing the sound in human beings? Larynx. Not entire body, not my bone is producing the sound. My larynx is producing the sound now. So who is producing the sound in the heart? Movement of the valves. Those who are present at the opening of atria and ventricle and at the opening of aorta. We have discussed in the last class, semilunar valves and the aortic valves are there, and I said that AV valves are also there. So first heart sound, I will say 2 points. Why and when? Because in NEET exam they are asking why the first heart sound is produced and when the first heart sound is produced. So try to get my concept. Okay, I will leave the pen. I will focus more explanation. Listen the topic. It's very interesting because it likes. Blood from atria came into the ventricle due to the opening of tricuspid and bicuspid valve. Now the blood came into the ventricle. Now there is a need that from the right ventricle the blood will move to the pulmonary aorta. From the left ventricle it will move to the systemic aorta. This is the common thing now. But there is a probability when there is contraction in the ventricle, the blood will also try to go back into the atria. That is not possible. So just to prevent the backflow of blood between ventricle and atria, there is sudden closing of AV valves. So when there is sudden closing of AV valves, it will produce first heart sound. And when it is produced at the time of onset of ventricular systole. Getting? At the time of onset of ventricular diastole, that is second heart sound. That is known as the DUP. So movement of the heart valve, they are producing the first heart sound and they are producing the second heart sound. We have discussed a lot of theory. I will come on the question because ultimately we have to fight with the questions. So now, in a cardiac cycle, the interval is shorter between lub-dub, dup-lub, lub-lub and dup-lub. So I will say, please see towards the board because it is the base. I am going to explain in a very simple way. Try to get the point. So here I am going to say there are two chambers of the heart. One is the atria, one is the ventricle. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. I will not say the answer. I will explain all the answer. So it will help you. Okay, whatever the type of question it will come, you are able to recognize. See, if I will say me, what is the duration of auricular systole? 0.1. So systole. It means in remaining chambers 0.7. That is the diastole. So I represented it by the diastole. Or always I said never the atria and ventricle they contract at the same time. So whatever the what is the duration of ventricular systole? 0.3. But you have to write from here. You cannot write from here because I said both the chambers are not contracting at the same time. So this is the only thing that you have to keep in mind. Only after the contraction of the atria there is contraction in the ventricle. Are you getting my point? So this is the systole. In remaining chambers you can fill with the diastole. Now with the help of this diagram you are able to remember a lot. Duration of atrial systole 0.1, duration of ventricular systole 0.7, duration of ventricular systole 0.3, duration of ventricular diastole 0.5. This is the 1 point. If you will see towards the board, these are the last 4 points, 0.4 seconds. In these last 4, both the atria and ventricle, they are in diastolic condition now. This is known as the complete cardiac diastole. Are you getting? This is known as the complete cardiac diastole. Diastole, 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 diastole. diastole, diastole. Both atria and ventricle, they are in diastolic condition. This is 0.4. I represented it like this. This is the 0.4. Are you getting? This is 0.1. This is 0.3. So see, first heart sound, love. First heart sound is produced at the time of onset of ventricular systole. At the time of onset of ventricular systole, first heart sound is produced at the time of onset of ventricular systole. So I will use another color. Ventricular systole starts from here. It is not visible. So I will change. So this is the ventricular systole, first heart sound. Write the spelling correct. L-U-B-B it is. Are you getting what I want to say? Okay, please write the spelling correct. It is that ventricular systole 0.1. Here, that just see ventricular systole and ventricular diastole. It starts from here. Na? So, first heart sound produced here. Second heart sound produced here. This is the base of this diagram. Any type of question related with the duration you can solve. I am solving one by one all the 4 options. Love and dub. What is the duration? Love here 0.1. Dub 0.4. So, what is the duration? 1, 2, 3. What is the duration of love and dub? 0.3 second. Are you getting? What is the duration between love and dub? 0.3 second. Dub and love. This is dub. This is love. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the duration? 0.5 second. Love and love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0.8 second. Dub and dub. Again 0.8 second. So, which interval is shorter? Love and dub. Only 0.3 na. Between dub and love 0.5. Love and love 0.8. Dub and dub 0.8. They can frame any type of question. What is the ascending order? What is the descending order? What is the sequence? Any type of question you are able to solve with the help of this representation. Either this you can draw, or you can draw in this way also, because it is also simple representation. I will draw it again. This is one duration. This is atria. This is ventricle 0.1, 2, 3, 4. You know Telugu na? Aidu, Aru, Eru, Enimidi. Okay, so 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Systole, diastole. You have to remember basic. Systole, diastole. It is showing the complete cardiac diastole, last 4. So, here, systole. This is the first heart sound here. Second heart sound here. Are you getting? So, what is the duration between love and dub? Love and dub 1, 2, 3. What is the duration between dub and love? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you have to come from here 5. And what is the duration between love and love? 0.8. Dub and dub 0.8. So, either you have to draw that, or you have to draw this. You will not get this representation in any guide or any notes. This I learned by the experience of 20 years. You know na, knowledge, experience. So, something we are getting, I am also getting something. Every year I am learning something from you. Okay, so learning process is still going on. How to simplify the subject? In last lecture I said na, what is the responsibility of a tutor? The responsibility of a tutor is to simplify the subject. How to simplify? If you will remember this in your mind, you are able to solve any duration question. So, I have given you one clue that how to solve. Yes, answer came na. Okay, see, this was the question. We are correct. Okay, answer came na. Shorter, this is the shorter 0.3. This is 0.4. Ascending order, descending order. So, it is the one thing that you have to keep in mind. I said. So, first heart sound and second heart sounds are produced at the time of onset. Yes, 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 yes. Whatever I said, it came here now. I said na 0.1 auricular systole, remaining diastole. 0.3 ventricular systole, remaining diastole. Only after the contraction of atria, there is contraction in the ventricle. This is the beauty that you have to remember. Okay, so this is the one that you have to remember. Now, they said the second heart sound is produced. I said at the time of onset of ventricular diastole. When there is diastole in the ventricle, the ventricle will collect the blood from auricle. Aorta will say, yes, I will also give the blood. No, backflow of the blood is not provided. It is not possible. So at that time there is sudden closing of the aortic valve. So you have to remember, first heart sound, I will simplify, first heart sound, second heart sound. First heart sound at the time of onset of ventricular systole due to sudden closing of tricuspid and bicuspid. Second heart sound at the time of onset of ventricular diastole due to sudden closing of semilunar valve present in the pulmonary aorta and systemic aorta. So see, the second heart sound is produced during ventricular systole, no. During diastole by the closure of semilunar valve, yes. This is first heart sound. Are you getting? So when you will try to solve the question, you will get the answer. So this is the one point that you have to remember. I said, how much blood is coming? Stroke volume. So what is cardiac output? Cardiac output. Cardiac output. Cardiac output is equal to stroke volume into ventricular systole per minute. What is stroke volume? 70 ml, I already said. What is ventricular systole? 72 times per minute. So it will come about 5040 ml of 5 liters. That is the cardiac output. I will explain it again. Stroke volume. What is stroke volume? The volume of blood coming from ventricle into aorta during one beat. That is known as the stroke volume. In 1 minute, how many beats? 72 average. So 70 into 72, it will come 5040 ml or approximately 5 liters. Now, where this 5 liters of blood is going? This is one very important point. Where this 5 liters of blood is going? So, first, before saying where the 5 liters of blood is going, I will say thank you to the C. Chaitanya technical team, which is related with the Infinity Learn, because I am not written in this, they have written in very good thing. My writing is not good, but they converted in this, so it is looking very simple. Okay, it is looking simple, interesting. My job is easy. So thank you, C. Chaitanya, Infinity Learn, Infinity Meta Learn. Okay, thank you for simplifying. So out of total cardiac output, 10% goes to the heart muscle, 15% brain, 20% kidney, 25% intestine, and remaining to the remaining part of the body. Are you getting? So 10% goes to the cardiac muscle. So they will ask. This is the not needed. Now they said you will get the question. I said na, always after every topic we have to solve the question. In human beings, how much blood is pumped to the brain per minute? I said cardiac output 5 liters. 5 liters means 5000 ml. Out of this, 10% goes to the heart muscle, 15% goes to the brain. So 15% of 5000. Anyone will say, so if I will say simply 500, 10%, 250, 5%, total 750 ml of blood is going to the brain per minute. So any possible answer here? Yes, this is the answer. So you have to remember, again in this topic you will get the simple numerical, how much blood is pumped to the brain per minute. How much blood is pumped to the heart muscles? 20%, 1 liter. Okay, how much blood will move to the kidneys? Are you getting? So that they can ask the question like this. So you have to remember, I said now this is the one key point that you have to remember, that 10% goes to the heart muscles, 15% to brain, 20% to kidney, 25% to intestine, and the remaining part of the body. So this is the one point. My answer is 3. Okay, just see. Now I said this is not needed, so I am coming on the next one. This is again not needed. So now coming. Always the heart sounds are produced due to opening and closing of valves. So there are two events, auricular events, ventricular events. Always we have to give importance to the ventricular events. Are you getting my point? Always we have to give importance to the ventricular events. So see, why there is opening of the AB valves? The opening of the AB valves due to the contraction of the atria and relaxation of the ventricle. So the pressure in the atria increases. So the pressure in the ventricles decreases, volume increases now. So I said, if you will get the two answer, increased intraatrial pressure, decrease in the pressure of ventricle. So I said, always we have to give importance to the ventricular event. So anyone will say, out of these two, what is the correct answer? Atrioventricular valves are open. You can say, sorry, increased pressure in atria causing the opening. Yes. But I said, na, you have to give importance to ventricle. So I will go with the third option because decreased pressure in ventricle causing the opening of this valve. Okay. Thank you again, technical team. It is looking very fine. So now this is the one point that you have to remember about. Now, sometimes there is defect in the heart. You know, our body is just like a machine. Sometimes there is a fault in the machine, sometimes there is a fault in organ. So when the heart valves are not functioning properly, there is improper closing and opening of the valves. They are producing abnormal sound. These abnormal sounds are known as the murmurs. Abnormal sounds which are produced by the heart, they are known as the murmurs. When you will be a cardiologist, na, you will use the stethoscope, okay, on the heart, and you will listen. Heart is saying something extra. Extra means that is the murmur. Extra sounds which are produced by heart, that is the murmur. Don't say dil mange more. Here in heart, no more. Only love and dup is okay. So this is the one point. Now coming on one more numerical, because I said na this topic needs some numerical mathematical practice. Question is, the volume of blood present in each ventricle before the beginning of atrial systole and at the end of joint diastole. So I said, I will say the story again. I said my wife to give me rupees. How much rupees? She has given me 120 rupees. How much expenses? 70 rupees. How much I am having? 50 rupees. So next time she will give me only 70 rupees. I already said. So only 70 ml blood is entering into the heart. This 70 ml is entering in two ways. Passive, active. Passive, by the passive mode, 70% of the 70 ml, it means 49 ml. 50 ml is already present. So what is the amount of blood present at the end of joint diastole? 99 ml. This is active, 30%. So that is 99 plus 30% of 70 ml, that is the 21 ml. So 120 ml. If you are not remembering this, I said this all related with the cardiac output. This is cardiac output. Where I said, just wait for 1 minute. I said this is the one volume. Yes. Total 70 ml is required. 70% of the 70 ml, 49 ml. It is coming by passive process at the end of diastole. And this is due to the atrial systole. So you have to keep in mind, first there is ventricular filling, passive. Second, there is ventricular filling, active. So 70% of the 70 ml, it is coming by the passive ventricular filling. So how much is already present in the heart? 50 ml. How much is already present in the heart? 50 ml. Again, how much enter? 49 ml. So total 99 ml. Read the question. If I will ask, so many questions I will frame here. What is the amount of blood present in the heart at the end of diastole? 120 ml. Ventricles. At the end of systole, 50 ml. 50 ml already there. Now 70 ml it has to enter. End of joint diastole. End of joint diastole causing 70% filling of the ventricle. Passive process. So 50 plus 70% of 70 ml. That is 49 ml. So 50 ml plus 49, That is the 99 ml. My answer is 99. Why not remaining 3 are correct? Only to get answer is not a big thing. If you want to make real practice, you have to solve why the remaining 3 are wrong. In main exam, we will not do like this. But when we are learning, it is more important, although this is correct, but why remaining 3 are incorrect? So see, this is not at all correct because this is the volume which is needed. This is not at all correct because it is the 30% of the 70 ml. It will come by the ventricular auricular systole. It is not correct because it is added. So what is the total? 50 already there, 49. So that is the 99. So my answer is 4. So make a good habit. Whenever you are getting your right answer, always try to emphasize on why the remaining 3 answers are wrong. Then it will develop a thought process because examiner will change the answer na, so that you have to make practice. So I have written here ESB 50 ml, stroke volume 70 ml, that is filled in ventricle 70% of 70 ml by the passive filling. It is 49 ml. So 50 ml plus 49, that is the 99 ml. Additional 30% filling, that is by the atrial systole, that is 21 ml. So it is again 120 ml. Getting? So this is the one point that you have to remember. Now coming on the second part, ECG. I think everyone knows about ECG. Electrocardiogram. Okay, that have you seen the waves coming, going up and down? So there is ECG, electrocardiogram, and it is very important to see towards here. ECG. There are different waves: P wave, Q wave, R wave, PQR, ST. Okay, there are PQR, ST waves are there. PQR, ST waves are there. So it is P, it is Q, it is R, it is S, it is T. PQR, ST waves are there. So how many waves are there? PQR, ST waves are there. What they are asking? See, here it is correct. Again, this representation I have taken from C Chaitanya material. It is not given anywhere. You will find it in our material only. PQR, ST waves are there. So what is P? What is QRS? What is T? Against P. So I will explain. I said about the nodal tissues. Sinoatrial node. From sinoatrial node, it is coming to the ABN, AB bundle, bundle branches, Purkinje fibers. I said last time. So what is indicated by the P wave? P wave indicates the origin of impulses from the sinoatrial node. They will reach to the both atria and they will contract the atria. So till time I said about the P wave. P wave. P wave originated by sinoatrial node. It is originating. It is spreading both the atria and it is reaching to the AB node also. So P wave indicates origin of impulses from SAN, pacemaker of the heart. They will spread into the two atria and they will cause simultaneous contraction of both the atria. This is the P. Now the impulse will reach to the ABN. They will move to the AB branches, bundle branches, and they will move to the Purkinje fibers. Now ventricles are ready to contract. So QRS complex is indicating about the ventricular contraction, ventricular depolarization, contraction, depolarization, both are the same thing. Relaxation, repolarization, both are the same thing. So P wave is showing about the auricular systole. QRS complex is showing about the ventricular systole and T wave is saying about the ventricular diastole. It means one ECG is representing only 3 things. When I was in college, I read a book of PG Mehta, Dr. PG Mehta on ECG only. It is having 200 pages. Here I am going to explain this ECG in 2 pages. Okay, so for NEET exam, you have to read like this whenever you will be a cardiologist or any in field of medical MD. So you will read this all. So I said P is indicating the auricular systole, It is saying about the ventricular systole, it is saying about the ventricular diastole. It means ECG is not representing auricular diastole. ECG not representing auricular diastole. This is the one point I said. P wave indicates origin of impulses from SAN. NCRT, what the NCRT is saying, P wave represents the electrical excitation or depolarization of atria, which leads to the contraction of both the atria. So, this is the one point that you have to remember. QRS complex I have written separately. This is the P wave. Are you getting? This is the P wave. P wave indicates the origin of impulses from the SAN. The impulses will reach to the two atria. They will cause the contraction in the atria. QRS complex, it will indicate the ventricular systole. It is indicating the ventricular diastole. So, auricular systole represented, I will write P auricular systole. QRS ventricular systole. T, that is the ventricular diastole. Okay. So, this is the representation I have taken from NCRT, that is why the number is given here. So, this is the one point that you have to remember. This again I have taken from C Chaitanya material. It is saying about the duration and all. So, whenever you will come, total duration 0.8 second. We will explain this again. So, this is the one that you have to remember. QRS complex. QRS complex means total ventricular systole. One QRS complex indicates one heartbeat, because the most important event of the heart is the ventricular systole. So, QRS complex indicates one heartbeat and T wave indicates ventricular diastole, repolarization, relaxation. End of T wave, end of systole means diastole already completed. So, this is the one point that you have to remember, that here what are the uses? Very important use. Whenever any person is rushing, getting the chest pain, and the person will come to your clinic, what you will say? You will say that go for the ECG. ECG is the primary tool to observe the functioning of the heart. That heart functioning is normal. So many advanced methods are there, like echocardiography, but basic is the ECG. Still, in all the hospital, first tool is the ECG. Why ECG? Because it is providing where the defect is there. Auricles are affected, ventricles are affected, systole is affected, diastole is affected. What is the number of heartbeat? It is arrhythmia, tachycardia more, or bradycardia. So, it is having a clinical importance. We are able to determine the heartbeat rate by counting the QRS complex. So, you will get questions related with this heartbeat. So, today I said about the cardiac cycle and about the ECG. Hope you enjoyed the topic. Whenever you will come to our campus, we will discuss this all in detail. Here we are having limited time. So, all the best for your upcoming exam. We will meet again soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.